Verwandlung, fluttuare, condivisione. So Drift is a male duet, and it's based on the Dying Swan solo by Anna Pavlova and Michel Fouquin from 1905. What I wanted to do initially is really go as far away as possible from the original idea, at least aesthetically. Also because, in a way, I grew up in... I didn't grow up in academia as in like the dance academia, so to say. But then I went through like a classical training in the end. So it was sort of, I had this idea of like the Dying Swan solo being, I don't know, a milestone, of course, and also something maybe untouchable. So in a way, I wanted to move away from that and really create something that I feel is the essence of that work, but does not necessarily aesthetically or conceptually reflect it too much. And so what I went to do is I asked a composer, borderline order. He's a singer-songwriter from Italy, to work on a rendition on his own. So of the idea of this endless drift, I mean, it's called Open Drift, the piece. And I like this drifting idea. I find when you look at the original solo by Anna Pavlova, then it's a lot about moving from stage left to stage right. It's constantly in a process of transformation. So it always is about leaving a space and going into the next one. But at the same time, it's also about leaving a state of being, because we really, I mean, it's called the Dying Swan solo. So we watch a being transform from being alive into whatever comes next. So I really like the transformation idea, and I try to focus on that. So never standing still in a point, but always moving somewhere else. I would say it's a duo. I wouldn't call it a duet, just because I feel, I mean, they're dressed alike and some of their movement matches. But really how this project started is, it started during COVID. So I got the chance to work with one person first, because the other one couldn't be there. And then I worked with the other person, and then eventually they met. But what had happened in the meantime is that they had sort of already informed the piece with their identities. So they came in as, of course, themselves. Then I tried to work with the baggage that I have, tried to transpose it onto them. But between them, they didn't really influence one another because they hadn't met yet. I think they're two solos, because there are very few moments in which they really interact with one another, at least not necessarily tactual. So yeah, I would say it's a duo. It's almost two solos that at some point meet. Like many before me can also thrive. In this duet, I think it is more about what happens when we watch someone else experiencing loss. We sort of pass the original role we had, being the spectator, onto the second person that stays on stage. There's one person leaving, not being there anymore, transforming into something else, but the spectator is on stage. So we're sort of like watching the spectator as the spectator watches someone transform into something else. I like the idea of having this aspect in the work, to create someone who stays behind, as opposed to someone who's just not there anymore.